It's October 24, and for a lot of you that don't know, but a lot of you that do know, I'm 27. How's it going, everybody? This is your boy Evanolution here, and welcome back to another reaction. Today we are reacting to Sonic X Shadow Generations Dark Beginnings Episode 2, and we got Team Dark here. The gang is back, as they should be. I know how long my intros will be, and I want to keep this very short and brief. And speaking of short, really, Sega? 4 minutes? I can only imagine how expensive making these animations are, which probably explains the length. But you know what? I don't know what I don't know, but I can only assume somewhat of what I think I do know. So anyway, without a further ado, let's get into the reaction. And also, for those that are new to the channel, subscribe and hit the like button if you enjoyed this reaction, and leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. So anyway, let's get into this. And in 1, 2, 3. Also, I made sure to put the settings up to a crispy 4K. We gotta watch this in 4K. Gotta get that quality. Oh, and also too, I'm gonna be talking a tiny bit more quieter than I normally would, because my little brother's asleep as I'm recording this. Finding the way. I know what joke that's gonna be. No, I'm not gonna make the joke, even if I already know. Another flashback? The space colony arc 50 years ago. Whoa.
Freak, to stay away from me.
Oh my gosh! That's the gun commander! That was the gun commander! Also, I don't think we knew his first name, so it's Abe.
Shadow, are you alright?
Maria, I'm fine. It's just...
What's that in the tank?
The professor created me using alien DNA.
Wait a second.
The black arms, he called them.
Black arms get a
Same
mention.
DNA as this
That's...
larva.
It is!
Ugly, heartless creature. I
Disgusting.
may look like a hedgehog, but I'm really no different than
That's...
this thing.
If that's what I think it is, that's that's one of the Black Arms larva enemies from Shadow the Hedgehog.
It may be difficult for you to express it, but I know that deep down you really do care. About me.
Oh.
About everyone. What you do is what defines you. I
Aww.
know you're having a hard time finding answers, but I'm certain you will one day.
A lot of those other endings in the Shadow the Hedgehog game didn't really clarify any of that.
You'll find even more people you can trust.
Oh, we're at the half moon? Whoa, what the? Whoa! What the? Yo! Yo! Okay, we're really getting into this. Okay, let the action begin. Yo! Oh my gosh, dude! Omega! Omega! Oh.
Evening, handsome. Didn't expect to see you here.
I can't say that I didn't expect to see you here either.
Just gathering some
My
intel for good.
gosh, dude.
I convinced Omega to be my backup. What's your story?
I need
Is it just me, or does her voice sound a little bit more better in the
I
range?
have reason to believe the black
Or I
arms
mean
have
direction.
returned.
Well, you're out of luck here. This is just a supply depot.
Jeez. Wait.
Hold that thought.
I called it.
Take it out.
Classic Omega. Alright, Team Dark. Team Dark. That robot looks familiar. Wait! Yo! That's the Egg Breaker! That's the Egg Breaker from Shadow the Hedgehog! I knew I recognized the robot.
Spacecraft. I can take you to a ship, but in return, you're going to have to promise to come to Sonic's birthday party. I'll take that as a yes. Now then, interested in raiding a gun base?
Ooh. Wait. Why now? Why now? I was enjoying that. I want to scream out why, but I can't. For only 4 minutes! Like, damn near like 440 minutes at best. Dude, that was like so short. And if I'm correct, yeah, we're only getting like 3 episodes, right? Dude, why did I have to... I want more! I want more! I can't tell you how much I love these animations. And for the fact that they're so short, it's like time flies as you're watching it. And I know that's kind of like the whole point, really. But that's the thing. Like, when it comes to this kind of animation quality, like, as Sonic fans, we enjoy this stuff. Honestly, we haven't really gotten any sort of Sonic anime since X. Sega, please, we're all literally telling you, make another Sonic anime. And if it has to be only about Shadow, so be it. And honestly, that's probably what we might want anyway. But it's like end credit song, Throw It All Away, retrospective version, remixed by G Wiz. You know what? Fitting name for that. Also, quite a remix for Shadow's very first theme song. Okay, so mental analysis time. A ton of references there, and one thing I noticed about the location, this is it is like a, I would say decommissioned Eggman base, but it's definitely not decommissioned if some robots are already still guarding it. I saw the texture patterns of, let me see here. And you know what, I'll probably put them in the edits right here. I'll take a couple screenshots and put them up there so you guys know what I'm talking about. Let me see, yeah, right here. This is sand. I was gonna say sand ocean, and it probably might be at least the outside of the pyramid. This is sand. This has to be sand ocean, and that pyramid is Pyramid Cave. From it, this is the whole location of Pyramid Cave from Sonic Adventure 2. I see what they're doing here, and I love the referential callback, including the moon being blown in half. I caught that too from the first. And I also really like the nice added touch up too. You can see the Space Colony arc like a couple of inches away from the moon in the distance over there. I really like that. And also in colors, in Heroes, and in Shadow the Hedgehog, the egg pawns were all the same. So from what I can definitely believe, these are definitely either the Heroes egg pawns, or they're probably from Colors. Barely hard to distinguish. Ah man, like, and we got Omega's here, Rouge is here, and it's so good to see them all together again as it should be. Team Dark is back. Which is what we all wanted. The last time we saw them back was in IDW. While I wanted to talk about the Sonic Adventure 2 references, I can't forget the beginning. Okay, so let me go back here. Here we are. The Gun Commander. Also, I read Shadowfall. I read the Shadowfall issues of Sonic Universe, Sonic, the Archie comics. Commander Tower, I would like to call him, because I didn't really... It's been a long time, and maybe the comics did give us like the full description of his full name. It's Abraham Tower, Abe for short, which Maria calls him. Abraham Tower is literally here, and the thing, and how I caught this immediately too. It wasn't even just the eyes that caught my attention to know exactly who this was. We got to see a flashback of Abe at this age when Maria was still alive, and he witnessed Shadow's creation in Shadow the Hedgehog. For a lot of people that didn't know that, he was in one of the cutscenes of a flashback. And it was, if I'm correct, literally, in one of the cutscenes, the commander walks up to Shadow with a gun in his hand and literally explains everything, almost a lot of things about his experiences seeing Shadow and what Maria meant to him, and why he blames Shadow for everything that happened, even though it wasn't really Shadow's fault. but just from him saying like, tell that freak to stay away from me. In the Shadow game, this guy hated Shadow to a T, where he wanted to kill him. And you know what? I will say this now. Go ahead and fight me if you want to. In my opinion, this guy had a lot of balls to personally walk up to Shadow with a gun in his hand. Despite the fact that we know it won't do anything to Shadow, if Shadow wanted to, he literally could have just killed him right then and there. And he's only fortunate and lucky that Shadow didn't. But at the same time too, I also like that there was like a kind of a heart-to-heart between the two of them in that cutscene, where the gun commander thinks Shadow already knows everything that happened. But during the time in the game, Shadow didn't know anything, and he's still trying to figure out why he exists. And that's why the commander kind of questions, so you really don't know who you are. It gave a lot of wrong impressions of what the commander thought of Shadow, despite the fact that everybody on the arc died and he saw that, and obviously he survived. And he blamed Shadow for everything that happened because he saw him as evil. But of course, we all knew better. But it took a lot of time. The freaking Black Arms offspring larva from Shadow the Hedgehog, which is one of the enemies you do fight in-game. They stick to the walls, they're very splotchy and gross. And there's probably more to them too that I don't know. I've played and owned Shadow the Hedgehog a lot as a kid, but I never beat the actual game. I never beat it. I got close when I knew about like how like the whole path thing worked, with the good and the bad missions would either take you up or down. That as a kid confused me. But times have changed, and you know what? I'll probably do a playthrough of Shadow the Hedgehog on my channel, and I will complete the full game with all of you to witness it. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. The Black Arms larva from Shadow the Hedgehog is here. And also too, I really like just the disgust on Shadow's face as he's watching this thing in the tank. And as a kid, I didn't understand any of this. It was a Sonic game, and Shadow was my favorite character. But growing up now and looking back at a lot of it too, like there's a lot of things there's a lot of things about Shadow that stand out, even story-wise, that makes him very relatable as a character. That also relates to us as we see his story, which is why he's a character everybody can relate to and why people love him so much. That's why he's my favorite character. In a lot of the times in my life, I've had an identity crisis, and I would question myself, and it had a lot to do with my depression. I didn't know where I fitted in life. I always felt like I was a failure, and I wasn't really doing anything justice for my family, especially for all the times that I screwed up, even if it was just something minor. I would always beat myself up over it, and I just felt like I just shouldn't exist anymore. There's been many times where I've had to struggle with where I fit in life, like the people I wanted to please, what crowd I fit in, and where I stand. But I mean, as a kid, you're really gonna go through an identity crisis, but at the same time, it's also really important to realize exactly where you come from, what defines you, and what you feel holds you back that really shouldn't, when it's not exactly what does define you. And that's also what I really liked about like Shadow's inner struggle with his self trying to figure out where he comes from, why he exists, why these flashbacks are just there when he can't make out any sense of them. He's trying to find answers to what his real purpose is and why he's here. And to me, I don't really feel like that's a bad story direction, as long as you execute it right. With what they did with the multiple endings is definitely not what I can get behind. And in my opinion, the android ending, which was the neutral ending, was probably one of the worst endings of the game overall. I'm very disgusted with that one. And it makes no sense. But I'm getting a bit off track here. these enemies are back, and I really do like the fact that Maria reassures Shadow that despite what he thinks he is, Shadow is that creature is not what defines Shadow at all, despite if he was created with their DNA. And also too, I know very well that, and for a lot of people that don't know, that is not Black Doom. That is one of the alien larvas of his colony, of his alien species. The DNA that was given to Shadow during his creation, all of that DNA comes from Black Doom. Black Doom's DNA is the only DNA that was ever used to put into Shadow, which is scientifically the reason why Shadow is able to use Chaos abilities, why he's able to utilize the power of the Chaos Emeralds, because Black Doom could also do it as well. So it makes perfect sense, and I love the fact that they're really like connecting everything lore based around like what was shown in Adventure 2, what was shown in Shadow the Hedgehog, because they added a lot to Shadow's lore in Shadow the Hedgehog with everything that I guess in a way kind of didn't really need to be expanded upon, but they kind of wanted to make a couple things fit in between here. What I really like is the fact that they touched up on the fact that why Shadow has all these powers or anything, has all these powers and everything, and how he can control the Chaos Emeralds like Sonic does. It's because of the DNA Black Doom. It's because of Black Doom's DNA, and it makes sense. And I love that Ian Flynn did that. But I always love Maria and Shadow's dynamic. Like I hope we get more of that. And when the game finally drops, which is probably in a week or two, I do hope that we get a very heartfelt connection with not only just Shadow and Maria, but with Gerald as well, since we see them in the white space in that trailer. The fact that they brought in a boss from Shadow the Hedgehog, which Eggman uses, by the way, and I do remember what level it was, because it was a level you did with Omega halfway, I think close. Yeah, it's close to the very end of the neutral story, and it's Iron Jungle where you meet Omega, you have to shoot down the egg balloon, and hence, well, if you choose the hero route, you pursue Eggman with Omega, and then for the bad path, you follow Eggman and I guess set up the base's defenses or anything, and you also run into the Shadow androids as well. But one of the bosses that actually shows up in that level once you beat it is Eggman in a giant oversized mech. And that mech is called the Egg Breaker, which is this robot right here. And that is a really good callback to that boss from Shadow the Hedgehog, which I will definitely say is probably one of the most pathetic bosses ever, considering it takes literally a couple seconds just to destroy, and then that's it. Which is an easy A rank to get. It's in my opinion, it's very laughable. But you know what? Hey, you get what you get. Also here when Rouge says, I caught that too. And having played Generations, they are really connecting this with Generations story-wise. The reason for Shadow being there at the very end of the game at Sonic's party. So it's because Rouge was why Shadow was there in the first place. So basically it was a promise. So he showed up. So hey, we got Rouge to thank for the fact that he was there, and now and I love that this is literally just like a small explanation for why he was just there in the first place at the very end of the game. And I also do hope that we get an explanation on why in Generations, well during Generations, why Sonic and Shadow fight. And I do hope that we get to see Shadow's perspective of the rival fight between him and Sonic. And if they do that, then big ups to you. Big ups to you, Team Sonic. Sonic Team, sorry. And pretty much it all ends with wanting to raid a gun base. I do wonder what kind of gun base it could be though, and I highly doubt it's Prison Island, because Prison Island is a prison, and it's no longer commissioned considering it blew up. But I'm gonna go on an assumption here and say, could this potentially be GUN GUN Fortress from Shadow the Hedgehog, Gun Fortress, which was the very last stronghold that was literally the last of one of the gun bases to stand against the Black Arms when they invaded, and it pretty much could be the only. I made it that far in the game, so I only know a little bit. But I've rambled on long enough. What did I think about this episode as a whole? Honestly, the voice acting. Also, Rouge's voice direction is definitely better in this one. I will definitely admit that. They're finally giving direction the right way, and I love it. I love Kirk Thornton's direction with Shadow in this one too. It is very much improved. And it keeps improving. I like that. Effort. That's what's important. Effort and direction. We need Omega to come back in a lot of games, dude. Like, bring him back. That's pretty much it. Yo, let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Despite it being short, I really, really enjoyed it. So, and I'm honestly looking for, if it really is just 3 episodes, then I'm looking forward to the finale, and I hope the finale is longer than this one. But anyway, yo, this was awesome. Yo, let me know what you guys thought in the comment section down below. What did you think of this episode? Let me know what your favorite references were in this episode, because I have to be honest, my most favorite one is literally, I think, you know what, if I have to really think about this, I think my favorite reference in this, I think my favorite Easter egg reference in this would have to be the freaking larva from Shadow the Hedgehog, and how Shadow pretty much sees it. That and Abe Tower being here, because he played. I wouldn't say he played a crucial role. He was there and he did some stuff. But yeah. Anyway, yo, I will leave a link down below for all of you to watch this video yourself without my reaction. And yo, give Sonic Team some love. They've been cooking, and so has Sega. Yo, Ian Flynn, Takashi Iizuka, I see a lot of cooks on your end, and they better be paid well. But yeah, anyway, this is your boy Evanolution here. I'll see you guys during the finale, because I'm definitely watching this through and through, and I also want to upload more. I know I've been taking a lot of breaks because I've been working on animations and all that too with my series, but I really do want to keep making videos. I'll never stop, no matter how long it takes. Anyway, this is your boy Evanolution here.